Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a release that you probably should know about. I wanted to tell you the Mahler Haitink Christmas concerts, the Kerstmatinees. The Christmas matinee concerts are back. They are back courtesy of Tower Records Japan, which is its own company and it's sort of its own label at this point. This is their vintage collection. You could tell because of, it has this thing, which is called an obi, by the way, in case you were wondering what these things are in these Japanese releases. But I saw this on Amazon for a very reasonable price. And so, all things considered, and I really wanted you to know that, now it's on Decca, not Philips, that it's back. Because these were like legendary back in the day. They were only available in Holland as a special thing on Philips, and they were pricey imports and hard to get. But now, I think they're probably going to be in the big Haitink box that's coming on Decca as well. But, we'll wait and see. But anyway, you've got all kinds of stuff here. This is not a complete Mahler cycle. He didn't do the eighth, which he never really cared for, obviously, given his performances of it. And he didn't do the sixth because, really, it's Christmas. I mean, do you really want to go see Mahler Sixth on Christmas? It's not exactly a Christmassy piece. It would be like going to see Wozzeck. It's a little bit not appropriate for the holidays. But everything else is here, including the Songs of a Wayfarer and a few Wunderhorn Lieder as well, with a wonderful cast of people. Wonderful soloists, Roberta Alexander, Maria Ewing, Yard Van Ness, Carolyn Watkinson, Benjamin Luxon, Tom Krause, all kinds of people like that. They're all involved somewhere. And it's the performances themselves are really quite special. They are different enough from these, which is the standard canonical Haitink Mahler cycle on Philips, now Decca, to be worth listening to. And of course, hearing the Concertgebouw, which is one of the great Mahler orchestras live, doing its thing in Mahler, is a wonderful experience. Some people swear by these more than these, but as usual, the truth, and I only deal in truth, as you know, the truth is a little bit in between. It's swings and roundabouts. Some performances are better, some are a little bit less. It's all marginal. But, the thing that makes this complicated is that Haitink, and I've said this before, Haitink was like the biggest hypocrite in the musical universe because he gave a famous interview in Gramophone where he talked about Mahler symphonies are special. They shouldn't be played all that often. Everyone has to be an event and people are making too many records and blah, 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 blah. And then he became the biggest offender of all because even with the Concertgebouw, in addition to these, there was his remakes of numbers 1, 4, and 7, which are not in this box, and they're not in here. And then there were, by the way, the 1 was very good, 4 was okay, 7, the digital remake, not nearly as good as the first one. And, it was just, why did he bother to do that? He should have just let it go, and he was fine. But in any case, what are some of the differences? Well, in a live circumstance, he did take more risks. These versions, these initial versions, are rather, they tend to be a little bit small scale and tight is, I think, the word. On the faster side, here he relaxed a little bit more. There's some remarkable timings here. He spends 29 minutes over the Adagio of the ninth, the final movement of the ninth, which is a long, slow tempo. Here he's much more canonical. It's 24 and a bit, for example. But then all the tempos are a little bit slower. Haitink slowed down generally in his remakes, in all of his Mahler remakes. But that was kind of a remarkable one. 19 minutes over the Scherzo of the fifth. Whoa. Although, again, this one was also on the slow side. It was 18 minutes. But, everything is also a little bit slower there. On the other hand, the second Nachtmusik of the seventh is about a minute quicker here, all to the good. Although this performance of the seventh, the original one that he did, is one of the great Mahler sevenths. It's just fabulous, just for the sound of the Concertgebouw alone, which is just extraordinary, just marvelous. But in any case, this was a real collector's item. And these live performances are beautiful and they're exciting and they're fun to hear, and the sonics are quite different. The Concertgebouw with an audience sounds very different here than it does here. And Phillips, we hadn't quite figured out how to put bass into their recordings when these were made. These have a little more. It's really wonderful. This is the supplement to Haitink's canonical Mahler cycle that serious collectors should definitely want to hear. All of the other stuff that he did, all those other remakes with like Berlin and Chicago and Bavarian Radio and all that. I mean, he did it everywhere, over and over and over and over and over and over. It was really ridiculous. But if you have these, you will have the best of Haitink's Mahler. You really will. I mean, there may be other fine performances out there. There are. I don't deny it. But, the question of how many performances of the same thing by the same guy can any reasonable person be expected not just to own, but to ever have time to listen to. This will do you. It really will. So I want to let you know about it. And you can find them on Amazon. And now they're on Decca. And look for this. Kerstmatinees. That's these things. That's what these are. So you don't get them confused with like all this other stuff that looks rather similar. You want the Kerstmatinee Mahler performances, and you will be very happy. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.